Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely stream deck. For more information about the stream deck, the link is in the description below.
Good evening everyone and welcome to another round of the AOR Hype Season 18 PCF2 League. We are here in the Styrian Mountains here in Spielberg, Austria, as the Austrian Grand Prix plays host to the 9th round of 21 here in the AOR Hype Season 18 PCF2 League. We are of course here at the Red Bull Ring circuit, a circuit that's been ever present on the F1 calendar after returning in 2014 under that name. And, well, in the past two races it has been won by Max Verstappen in the Red Bull, and considering that the Red Bulls in this league are doing very well, I think their target will probably to match what the Dutch Master did in 2018 and of course in this year's race as well. The Austrian Grand Prix then, obviously it's got 3 DRS zones from start-finish straight, then down towards turn 2 and 3, and obviously down towards turn 4, which produces great overtaking opportunities. We have to be careful because there can be incidents, and we have seen that time and time again in AOR. But there's going to be 36 laps ahead of us, and we have the obviously soft, medium and hards. We shouldn't really see any wet weather, but we haven't really seen any wet weather in Austria in the past, but you know, we can never say never to the threat of rain. Of course, as we head into the 9th round of the championship, got a bit of change in some of the drivers, but no change in the commentary box. I'm still joined by Jens.
Good evening, everyone, and yeah, as you said, welcome. I presume that we're all quite tired today after the Japanese Grand Prix earlier today.
I certainly am, but I wonder if the drivers are. I wonder if that will affect them really. A bit of lack of sleep. I mean, will it affect their performance? A lot of variables. It doesn't help that there was a qualifying and the Grand Prix very early in the morning here. I don't think the Americans or the Oceanic people who are in their respective leagues would have been affected as much as we have. But yes, it's not nice really to wake up at 2 AM in the morning, but
No, I can quite imagine that, but let's find out by just heading straight into qualifying and see if it has affected any of the drivers, as my OBS has decided, of course, not to pick up the game. There we go. But as we see here, a couple of drivers, a couple of drivers still in the pits, and drivers here, 14.5 minutes left of qualifying. We are already seeing some good times with a 1:14.006, or sorry, 1.4006.
maybe like in 2014. I can't remember the whole time, but maybe that would have been a 1:14, or maybe even what was called the A1 wing, I thought, or something. Went back in the V8 era or whatever. But yeah, no. Like, these cars are incredibly quick. It's a matter of time before we could possibly get a sub 60-second time. But yeah, 1:04 is the benchmark for Mick Nickton, with him on still within that bracket. Ice Weiss, actually, who's back after not attending the French Grand Prix. Obviously, he won in Monaco. He's back, and he's still on the pace, which is great to see. Relgon again in the Sol McLaren, Ulksan in 5th, Kimmy's in 6th, Mr. Anker in 7th, Kreisig's in 8th, but unfortunately we have no sign of the winner of the last race. Soren is not here tonight, which it's a bit of a shame, but thankfully, in attendance figures we have increased from 10 to 14. Obviously a lot of reshuffling going on. Obviously, unfortunately, the F1 League, the tier above us, hasn't really... Well, it's had a few issues with driver attendance, which has bumped up Napadovsky and Martin G, who were the front two runners in the championship. So they are no longer with us. Obviously, we did wish them the best in Tier 1 and hope they can carry on their good form. But yeah, there might be a few more drivers joining this league from the lower leagues. Maybe from F3 or F4. Just anything to really bump up the driver rate. But regardless, we have to deal with 14 drivers for today's race. Still, it shouldn't be a procession because Austria is a very unpredictable track, and you know there's a lot of chance for action on Austria, and we have seen that a lot, especially back when we commentated together in season 16 in our respective F4 league. That was, to be honest, I think that was like one of, if not the best race of the season. So I wouldn't mind a repeat of that.
No, I don't think any of us would mind that, but we're seeing all the drivers qualify on the soft tyre today, so no surprise there. But when they all qualify on the quickest tyre, could that maybe be a sign of some rain in the race?
Yes, no, the softs are optimal. The strategy is an ideal one-stop, soft to mediums or soft to hards. Around about the lap 12 mark, give or take a few laps. But we haven't seen any sign of mediums or hards being used. Anker has fitted or set his lap time on the medium. Let me double check on the race.
He set his time on the mediums, and he is currently on the soft tyres, out doing fast laps. Still, the last 5 drivers haven't set lap times yet, meaning that come the end of the session, they will be under even more pressure, since they won't have that anchor laps to rely on if they suddenly lock up or anything like that, as iSwee sets in a sub 1.4 time, that is a 1.39 time.
Yeah, and as you were talking about Anker, again, just like in France, the Red Bulls are cooperating very well indeed. It was a little bit unorthodox how Hadler came out too close to Anker, but they did give each other slipstream, which obviously did benefit them hugely in French qualifying. Anker runs up to the line now. It's a 104.213, so that slipstream probably wasn't used to full effect with the Red Bull team. I wonder if he'll help Hadl, who's also on his flying lap. But again, the Red Bulls working hand in hand. It is obviously F1 is a team sport, even though it's not really looked upon that much in a league racing sense. But these two, obviously, they are in the same esports organisation of VP. And again, they're just working together, and they need to. I mean, Red Bull were actually unsure of the actual standings. They haven't been updated. And quite frankly, we're too tired to do the maths. Our brains just don't want to function to do any sort of mathematical equations on a Sunday evening after being awake for quite a while. So we're going to assume Red Bull are quite high up in the Constructors' Championship. And again, they're working really well together.
Yes, indeed, they are probably up there, and since we only have one McLaren left in this league, we should be able to see the other drivers of, for example, Red Bull here, catch up in the constructor standings.
I'm on board with Smeed right now. He's obviously one of 3 drivers yet to set a time, and obviously I think Smeej and no, it was Igniton who were the two drivers who obviously didn't set any lap times in French qualifying. So obviously that Smeej did not have a very successful race, coming home well last, but still got 1 point due to only a 10-man grid. Hopefully he's feeling a lot better than he did last time and won't make such mistakes as he probably did last weekend. He seems much more committed to, well, to this track than he ever did. He looks a bit more confident on the brakes and through these corners, and he actually goes fourth, a 104.3 for the Haas man. Obviously still the sole Haas driver as we wait for hopeful new drivers to this league, because we want to get as many full grids, as many 10, 20 driver races as possible. Yeah, up in 8th place, not a bad lap time. Around 4/10 off pole position. Ice Reeser, what a good lap time. Railgun, it's done a 103.999. That looks quite aesthetically pleasing to me.
Yes, it really does, but sometimes it just looks better if it was just 000.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm contemplating. I'd rather if it's just that, but
maybe let's look at the positives here. Maybe he can come out and set a lap time that would be 1:00:000.
I mean, you need to cut some corners. As Le Mans actually goes second in between Ice Swiss and Railgun, as we've mentioned. Only 3 milliseconds separating the top two. Obviously, Le Mans, we have noted how quick this Polish driver has been, and he has been winning in other races. For example, in WCR, another league I am very much familiar with, he did take the victory with very competitive drivers of this caliber. He'd be looking to repeat that, especially considering that his form in this league has been good, but he just can't execute the races. Obviously, France, he did get tangled up with, I think it was VP Hadler in the end, and he came out worse from that incident. And in Canada, he obviously accumulated wing damage to stop his podium potential in there. Ice Swiss, though, I did see, extended his advantage at the top. He went a little bit quicker, about a 10th quicker. A bit more of a buffer as actually Le Mans, I think he's run out of fuel, or he's going very slowly. One of the two.
Yeah, but
Yeah, 5 minutes left of this qualifying session.
Oh, his Railgun goes fastest. 1:03.767.
Well, at least it gets rid of the 1:03.999 that we see on the standings. But what an impressive lap time, actually. That's like split one pace from Railgun. And 1:03, so that's going to take some beating. Ice Swiss can probably pick out. You don't need to gain 0.04 of a second to take pole, but it looks like a 3-horse race for pole. But obviously, Nixon, we haven't seen him since the start of qualifying. FK Gaming up there for Williams. So Williams look really strong, and they do need a good point. So FK Gaming is back after a few races out. Obviously, Bulksan, who did take his first podium of the season last time out, and Rayner, his teammate, is back. They're looking quite strong. Red Bull, as we mentioned, aren't, well, they're doing worse than their junior team, Toro Rosso. Hadler, 13th, and only, not last because of Kreisix, who's down in 14th. But yeah, we've got 4 minutes left of the qualifying session. The grid is very close, well, from 1st to 11th is separated by 0.6 of a second, so it's still all to play for. And I'm sure the guys behind and the lower playing field will probably have a lot of time to find. I don't think a 105 is anywhere near the quality. I mean, I can go quicker than that, so I'm sure Hadler and Kreisich can definitely do that.
Yes, indeed, and the drivers, of course, now just getting everything ready for that final outing of this qualifying session, as we will be looking to see some of the times tumble down. Maybe even if Railgun really sets together a great lap time, we could maybe even see him go with a 103.5. But that would be really impressive if he could do that.
It would be. And Kimmy's, who's got a pretty clear track to himself, only jumps up from 9th, I think, to 8th. So he didn't improve by a lot as he locks up into turn 1. We have 3 minutes left to go. Most drivers are just preparing their final setups as Park Femi is on, and then they'll come out for their final flying lap, the final dash we could say, and it will be a mad dash because this track is quite short and traffic could be an issue potentially, as might be why he's come out quite early compared to some other drivers, and some other drivers are actually starting their lap. For example, Smeej. We might as well go on for an on-board lap, if we don't mind, gents. On board with Smeej, as he might have cut turn 1 and might have completely jinxed it. Let me just double check. If he hasn't, we can carry on. No, he didn't cut, so we might as well carry on board with the Hassman. No, I'm completely buffering myself here. He did cut, so ignore that.
Let's try then to find another one who doesn't cut any corners that we could see challenge for pole. Maybe let's have a look at Railgun, Ice Sweet's older man here. Come the end, maybe have a look at their lap times. I think Ice Sweet is the first of that bunch. So let's follow him round as Kimmy's has retired from the session. Could possibly just be him pulling over, but now Icewee's starting his lap, coming through turn 1, getting quite close to cutting it, but looks like he has made it, coming up through that kink that is technically turn 2, then through turn 3. Important to get the exit right coming out of this corner, as there is the long DRS straight. This is the second DRS zone of the track, then coming down to that hard braking zone, that downhill. It is so easy to lock up, as I think I saw a bit of smoke there as we saw that rear view cam. Now coming through the two left-handers can be quite tricky if you don't get it right. Sometimes you might end up in the gravel. Now coming to the final 2 corners, really high speed. Final corner, let's see what Iceweeze will be able to do as he comes across the line. It is a 103.7 and he's not quick enough. Then I think it will be Le Mans coming through. I think he will maybe be starting his lap time now, his actual lap. As yes it is, he was up 11 seconds, or down 11 seconds there. Railgun looks like he isn't going flat out. Iceweeze, that was his final lap. Looks like
Railgun's going again.
Yeah.
He just about made it to the line. That's fractions of a second. 2 seconds I think was left. So he can go again, as can Iceweeze obviously, but he's done. Agnikson's done. Le Mans still on the charge as well, so it could be, but it's between Railgun and Le Mans for pole at the moment.
Yeah, and we're currently seeing Le Mans coming through the double left-hander. He's still up on his time, still in full ERS mode, still going flat out and trying to improve his lap time, as it is only just about 2/10 splitting him and Railgun, who's on provisional pole currently. Coming through the final corner, he will be having to get this right as he comes across the line. It is not enough. It is 4th place and Railgun is pulling over. He will not be setting a new lap time, so that is all the drivers done here.
Well, Railgun spun.
Well, he the donut.
Oh, that was intentional. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
So it looks like, yes, it will be Railgun on pole and Iceweeze in 2nd place, only splitting the top 2 by 0.003 of a second. This is phenomenal racing. Now we'll be seeing the final standings. We can just run over them in completion as Railgun on pole position, iSweet splitting them there, just 3,000. Then Igniton in third, Le Mans in fourth, Bulksan in fifth, Kopi in sixth, Anker in seventh, our championship leader, FK Gaming in eighth, Rain in ninth, Kimmich rounds off the top 10. Then it's Smeej in 11th, Boomsonk in 12th, Hadler in 13th, and Cry6 in 14th. Will start from the back of the grid.
3,000 though. That's. I'm pretty sure there was a qualifying in this season, the real life season, where it was similar to, or so close. 3,000. That's nothing. And yeah, iSweet might be kicking himself knowing that 3,000 could have been made up anywhere in that lap. Maybe like if he maybe activated DRS a bit too late, that might have cost him. But we are set for what promises to be a really exciting race that is overcast and looks very cloudy. So there might be a possibility of rain. Let's keep our fingers crossed and our toes and whatever we can keep crossed.
Well, let's try and do the reverse commentator's curse. Let's just say that we hope for a dry race the whole way through. But yeah, we will be seeing the drivers come out for the formation lap if my game wants to work for a second. Yep, as they get going there. Let's see what the guys outside the top 10 has chosen with tyres. Just to be sure, Smeej, Hadler and Cry6 on the mediums, correct?
Yes.
And Boomsonk is on soft along with the top 10.
Yeah, Boomsonk is on fresh softs. Everyone else in the top 10 of it is, of course, on their used soft. So they set their best time in the 80-minute qualifying session. We have a 36 lap race. But so yeah, one of the, well, in theory, the most race laps in the calendar, just behind Monaco, I do believe, which has 30 or something like that. Something crazy like that. 36 laps gives 33 laps of DRS, and hopefully, just hopefully 36 laps of action, really. I mean, that's all we can really hope for, and hopefully for Railgun, he'll be hoping to cross the start-finish line after every single lap leading. But he needs to get a good jump. Obviously, it's an uphill run towards turn 1, and he needs to be fully ahead. The last thing he wants to do is have iSweet down his inside, because that could really compromise him, and he could lose out even further to Igniton, who jumped Le Mans at the end. Actually, Le Mans actually could not even get into the top 3 in qualifying. Kopi, actually, we didn't mention him, is up in 6th. So Racing Point look really strong. Their two drivers are both ahead of the 2 Williams and the 2 Toro Rossos as well. But we have 14 drivers for this Austrian Grand Prix. Cry6, the last driver, will make his way onto the 14th and final grid slot. And there he goes now. The green flag is being waving as we've got a great camera view to view the Austrian Grand Prix. We have 5 red lights ahead of the drivers, and we are underway with a super start from Railgun. He's left iSweet and the rest in the dust as iSweet goes through turn 1. Igniton tries to get past him as he all straight down towards turn 2, with Igniton going wheel to wheel with the Williams of Le Mans, wheel banging between the two of them. Bulksan waiting in the wings into turn 3. We head now, they're still side by side. That's a 14 year of Kopi. So the Racing Point getting very racy as Le Mans has jumped Igniton at the start. Railgun pulling away from iSweet. Le Mans is the only mover in the top 5 so far. We're all streaming down towards turn 4. All very clean so far. We have Railgun keeping hold of that lead as FK Gaming is still going side by side with the Toro Rosso of Rainer in towards turn 6. You don't often see overtaking here and FK Gaming concedes. Nice move there from Rainer as we're already close to ending the first lap of 36. Look how close iSweet has not let Railgun go away. Railgun's gone really wide on the final corner. And Ice could actually set a move up down towards turn 1, and he actually is going to go wheel to wheel with a McLaren. The McLaren actually has a bit more straight line speed, which keeps the Mercedes at bay, but that Railgun looks a little bit vulnerable here as they head down towards turn 2. Look at this, is a 6-car train, you could say, for the lead of the Grand Prix, and I don't think Ice is going to try anything just yet, but this looks really, this looks like a spicy start to this race, gents.
Yes, it really does, and with the drivers up at the front being so close, we're gonna see the DRS come in full effect the next lap as Anchor overtakes Bolzan into turn 4. Very tricky overtake there, as it is the downhill braking, but of course if Bolzan locked up, it would have been an open opportunity for Anchor to just nip down the inside. But yeah, as I said, we will have DRS on the next lap.
Railgun's gone wide again!
Oh, he is having trouble with that corner. That could see Ice on the back straight maybe, or just out of turn 1. Maybe he will go for a move as they are past the detection point, and he has opened the DRS. Will he go for a move up into turn 3? He's on the grass. Railgun just pushes him all the way to the grass, but it is hard but fair racing as he opens the DRS again. Railgun going all the way to the right to try and block some of that extra slipstream and block that inside line. So Ice just holds it behind. These two drivers are beginning to make a bit of a gap to Le Mans, but he's still following them up there at the top. Now Ice will be within the second still. Will Railgun go wide again? Let's see. Looks like he keeps it on the track nicely this time. So he will have a bit of a gap down to Ice as Igniton sets in the fastest lap. There's yellow flags in sector 3. I think Boomsong spun through the last corner. So he will be behind the rest of the grid coming on to lap 4. But let's go back to the front. Le Mans was looking to make a move on Ice but thought better of it. Come in to turn 3 now, coming down the back straight. Will anyone make a move into turn 4? Oh, Ice getting close.
Here, ladies and gentlemen, is the slipstream train. First down to 11th are all within DRS of each other, and unfortunately this is a problem because, well, due to the nature of the game, the dirty air is really not as present as it really should be. It does create this effect where drivers really are stuck in these sort of trains, and it's up to, well, the driver in second, which is Ice to kind of disrupt this slipstream train and cause some action. We can only hope that the Mercedes can get closer like he did a few laps ago and try and move. Railgun covers it off as they head down towards turn 3. But Ice could try the switchback move. No, Railgun parks his car in the perfect situation, but Railgun needs to be wary, of course. He did make those 2 mistakes in the opening lap. Warnings will come into play, penalties will come into play sooner rather than later. The first driver to really pick up a penalty will really hurt. Honestly, the pit stops will occur in around about 6 or 7 laps, depending on who will set that trigger off. The undercut can work here. Obviously, traffic really shouldn't be an issue due to the fact that the top 13 are separated by 7.8 seconds. Obviously, Boomsong, unfortunately, due to that mistake, is really hurting and will need a safety car, otherwise he's going to have a very lonely race from here on in. Ice is getting close, but turn 1 is not a place you want to make a move, because you get DRS down towards turn 3, and Ice is just waiting for the right opportunity to pounce. He's gaining, is he going to go down the inside? No, not quite. Needs a few more miles an hour top speeds to overhaul Railgun. And this straight doesn't look like anything's happening from here on in. So this, yeah, this is what's really happening to everyone else in the top 13, really. Nothing that much we can do. We just need someone to trigger some action at the moment. At the moment, the most likely person to do so is iSwiss.
Yes, Boomsonk in the pits again. I don't know if that's just a graphical glitch on my end. No, he's in the pits again, gone from the soft to the hards and now on to the medium tyres. Interesting strategy from him.
Oh, he's going to get lapped.
Yes, he is. As FK Gaming just on the last lap got a 3-second time penalty. He is all the way down in 9th and will probably be out of the points come the end of this race. But now we have to look at the front. Will iSwiss make a move up into turn 3? No, he sticks behind. The slipstream train really showing. Yellow flags in sector 2. What could that be for? Could that maybe have been someone gone wide out of turn 3?
Possibly Boomsonk just letting people through as he is now. Unfortunately, a lap down, so in the first 7 laps, that's probably the worst case scenario for any racing driver, for any league racing driver. Unfortunately, it's happened to Boomsonk, but yeah, he needed to save the car, otherwise his race is pretty much kaput, and he can only hope for the fastest lap at this rate. Yeah, not the best day out, not the best day in the office for the Ferrari.
No, it is not, but FK Gaming is real close as Anker gets a 5-second time or 3-second time penalty, sorry there. But now let's look at iSwiss. He has caught that small gap. I think we're back. Hello everyone and welcome back. If anyone is still there, sorry for that, my power literally went out in my house. Now let's try to see if I can get back into the lobby and see if we can continue with this race, as I do have a backup invite. Let's see.
Oh, relief.
Let's see if it wants to work this time. I think I even have 2. Well, let's see if Steam wants to go in and let me click the invite, as I'm now joining the session. Let's see if we can
Hey, there you are.
spectate.
That's good.
Yep, it looks like we're back. And joining the action back. Let's hope my power doesn't go out again. I believe the reason was a lightning that just hit outside of my house, very close to me. Yep, as we are back here, Boomsonk has gone out of the race.
Yeah, you haven't really missed much. It's just the drivers who are on the softs have now come into the pits, and that's left Hadler, Smees and Kreisix, the 3 drivers who started on the mediums, out in the leads. But actually, never mind, Anker's jumped everyone. As Railgun's actually going for it. Okay then, so Anker must have obviously triggered the undercut. I'm unaware as what happened as you were, even though I had no lighting in my area. Anker is ahead of Railgun, just to reorganize ourselves where we are in this race. Lap 14 of 36. So Anker in theory is in the lead, but obviously will have worse tyres at the end. Railgun is still ahead of iSwiss. iSwiss will be 6 to deficing so much papaya. Le Mans behind them, like he was. Then Nixon. Then Bulksan in 9th. Rayner in 10th. Kimmy's 11th. Kopi 12th. FK Gaming is a bit further behind than he was for the pit stop, so I mean, I assume something must have happened to him, and that's pretty much what we have appeared to miss. Oh, I might check penalties, as Zach Nixon has got his first one of the evening. See if anyone picked up any whilst we were away. Crysis has. And
Crysis.
Railgun's better in the pits.
Oh, that's not good. That will mean that he will not be in the net first place. Was that a speed in the pit lane? That would be a drive-through, wouldn't it?
No, you just get given the 5-second penalty.
Oh, the 5-second time penalty. Yes, he would then be down in. Oh, he would be 11th, I believe, if not lower. Yeah, down. He will move down to 11th place if things stay like this. So our effective net leader is iSweeze in 6th place here. Oh no, that will be Mr. Anker iSweeze net 2nd place.
Yeah, and due to the fact that the field is so close together, there's no spread pretty much at all. Railgun's really going to feel the effects of that, but he's trying to make up for it as he goes down the inside of Mr. Anker at turn 3. Pretty textbook move there. He thought of it and he went for it and he executed it pretty well indeed. Anker had no response to that whatsoever. Nice move from Railgun, and he's now got a bit of clean air before he catches up to Crysis. So if he wants to try and eke out that gap so the 5-second penalty, when it hits at the end, won't be as severe. Now's his time. He needs to get out of the DRS range of Anker, which he isn't doing at the moment. So yeah, the bad thing about Austria is that, well, the bad thing for drivers, the great thing for us is that these Austria's such a track where it's very difficult to pull away, because there's so many straights where slipstream can be used, DRS, just catch up the minor deficits you may have accumulated possibly in the middle sector where there's a bit more downforce orientated. Yeah, as you can see, Anker's getting really close to the back end of the McLaren. No signs of any move going on for the drivers as of that. Toro Rosso, I think we were locked up into turn 3 of Bulksan. But yeah, Railgun and the rest catching up to Crysis, who will be gobbled up by the rest, it seems, unless he comes in to pit, which wouldn't be which wouldn't be the worst idea for Crysis. Maybe trigger an undercut, because his race is with Smeej and Hadler, but Hadler's looking pretty comfortable out in the lead on. Well, obviously he won't be in the lead when he pits, but yeah, he's looking very comfortable. And you know, if he can do what Danny Rick did in the real life race today, with his teammate pick some penalty and do the reverse strat and then be on the softs, he could make his way through a bit of that traffic, but he's going to have to rely on the slipstream train being no more. But that looks a distant threat at the moment for the Red Bull. But yeah, back at the provisional battle for the lead, Railgun is now within the RS range of Crysis. So let's carry on and see if he can challenge, not on this lap, but maybe next lap.
Yes, as we have to remember that the DRS detection point is out of turn 9. So if Crysis goes into the pits on the coming laps and Railgun is still behind, he could even get the DRS off of him, even though he's going to the pits, as I believe the DRS detection point is just about there where you will normally dive into the pits. But now we see Crysis about to get overtaken. Railgun is at least all the way up in his gearbox. Now coming down to this mini straight with the DRS, could it be a double overtake? Yeah, Anker going forward as well. Down the inside, maybe Anker also goes on Railgun. No, just a bit too far back. He must have thought about it, as he's still side by side with Crysis, but he gets the overtake done. Now I squeeze on Crysis into that downhill, braking off turn 4. Crysis almost getting a bit boxed in behind Anker there, but iSweeze still going side by side. Le Mans trying to get, and they touch. And it looks like iSuisse will be down in 9th place now, getting overtaken by Bolksan. And is coming under threat. Also, Reina coming under threat from Kimmy's. But Crysis and iSuisse touched. Looked like that maybe Lamar was trying to have a look up the inside of Crysis. Then he maybe locked up a bit. Crysis then going into iSuisse. And iSuisse speeding in the pit lane. And he has retired from the session. He will be our second casualty of this circus, as now Crysis is getting overtaken by the rest of the medium runners. You have to remember, he is not a lap down, so this is full position. He is allowed to defend as much as he wants. As it's now 3 wide almost going in to turn 4. As didn't work out quite, meaning that Kimmy's got a bit of an open door there for Reina. Kimmy's going around the outside, now Reina having a look down the inside, and I think that will be the overtaking on Crysis done for now. But let's look at our provisional leader, Railgun. He is about to be within 1 second of Smeege, who's on 20 laps old medium tyres. Coming down, I think maybe, yep, he will be probably having the DRS on the straight towards turn 4, coming out of turn 3, as he's within a second in that braking zone. So maybe he will already go for a move now. Don't think he will. Let's see. Coming into turn 4, he's way back, going for that dive, and it looks like he made it work. Yes, he did. He made that overtake stick. Came from far back, almost like Daniel Ricciardo in real life. Really late braking there, overtaking Smeege, almost 2 or 3 car lengths back when making that overtake. Great stuff from Railgun there.
You trying to make me more sad that Daniel Ricciardo can't make any other of those moves anymore? Especially for a race win, maybe that Railgun could be on set, could be on course for. But yeah, joke aside, that is a really good move. And Smeege, well, has this feeling too often where drivers who are on different strategies have got past him. He experienced it in France, and now he's experienced it a little bit in Austria, but thankfully he only got passed by a few drivers. Crysis really hurting after battling with all those drivers, and obviously he, well, resulted, or I wouldn't say caused the incident between himself and iSuisse, but it could have been avoided. During the incident, I was actually on board with Lamont, and he did a really good job of diverting away from them to getting into a squabble, and he's benefited from that. And he's reeled in anchor a little bit, as Railgun now, with a bit of clean air, is really setting benchmark and just pulling away, to put it bluntly, away from anchor. 1.3 seconds now as he crosses the line to start lap number 23 of this race. But yeah, the slipstream train has disorientated a little bit as Ignition is defending against Bulksan. This is the battle for 4th place. Kimmy's lurking in the distance, so Kimmy's made a good recovery. But here comes Bulksan now. After a strong result last time out, he's looking to go even better, and he goes into 4th place ahead of the Racing Point. Obviously, these two were battling this time last week. It's Toro once again still having the edge as Crysis gets potentially his first penalty of the evening. Regardless, he's still in last place. But he, Smeege and Hadler are all on the softs. Hadler is only 5 seconds behind Reina, who's only around, well, 2 seconds behind the battle for 4th. So Hadler can find himself in a very handy situation here, being on a very fresh set of compound and very quick as well. Don't discount him for a 4th or a 5th, and we know how quick he is. Can he pull it together though? 12 laps left.
I don't know, but I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I actually think that Anchor and Railgun both have penalties, so that means that Railgun is technically in the race lead currently. As actually Le Mans, as well as Igniton and Bulksan is fighting, but Le Mans going for the overtake on Anchor and making that move stick as he just got the DRS before going for the move. So now Anchor stuck behind him until he will get the DRS, if he can keep up with him, as Le Mans isn't getting that big of a gap, but still having a bit more speed than Anchor, really showing why he could make that overtake. And I don't think Le Mans has any penalties. That means
no, it doesn't.
That means that he will be in the race lead if Railgun doesn't pick up the pace and get a 3-second gap down to him. But now the man will be having to look a bit in his mirrors because Anchor's still within DRS range of him. And of course, with 3 DRS zones on this circuit, you have to be extra careful in those braking zones. But it doesn't look like Anchor will be able to capitalize off the DRS. Although I think he will be able to keep on with him, but not able to overtake. As we're seeing Kimmy's and Bulksan fighting for 5th place. I think Bulksan trying to go for that overtake into turn 4. Quite an interesting place to go for it. As I think my OBS is having some issues coping with this action we're seeing at the moment. Now still looking at Anchor in 3rd place. He is able to keep up with Le Mans and has actually gotten a bit of that small gap in. So let's see, will he be able to go for a move come the next couple of laps?
Potentially, I think Anchor's just biding his time a little bit. He knows what's at stake. He is, in theory, the championship leader. I don't see Napadowski and Martin G returning. So Anchor, you know, he knows that. Well, actually, if he's got a let me just check. If he's got a 3-second, oh no, Anchor's got 2 3-second time penalties. That's costly. Railgun doesn't have any corner cutting warnings or penalties. He only has that 5 seconds for speeding. Le Mans only 1 warning, so he's driving as quick, consistent, and clean, which can't be said for few of his competitors. All they need to do now is to, well, stay ahead of Anchor, and Anchor is not using any ERS. So I can sense that he's just using Le Mans as, well, a tool to just pull him along, really, and stay away from any threat of, you know, the drivers in 4th downwards to potentially catch up, as they could possibly. But they're in a squabble themselves, as Bulksan actually goes a bit wide on the exit of turn 4 there. So, yeah, Le Mans, 3rd time's the charm, hopefully. All he needs to do now is to keep it on the roads. He needs to stay within 5 seconds of Railgun and stay ahead of any other drivers that haven't picked up penalties. Whilst I'm on about penalties, let's see, Igniton has a penalty. Bulksan doesn't even have a warning. That's really clean driving from him. Kimmy's no penalties. Rayner has a penalty. Hagler doesn't have a penalty. Now that's interesting, because obviously now that he's only 1.2 seconds behind Rayner, so he's caught up to the Toro Rosso extremely quickly, and he should dispatch the Toro Rosso extremely quickly and catch up to the drivers fighting. He could still end up on the podium. And it's a stretch saying that. It's possible. It is very much possible. we still have 9 laps left of this Grand Prix, so anything can still happen, and it probably will do, considering it is the AOR PCF2 League, and it's very, very unpredictable. For example, in this track, I think in season 15, the driver from the back of the grid won. I think it was Garrick's. Not 100% sure. That was quite a while ago, actually. Just thinking about it, yeah. Echo Gaming has another 3-second time penalty on the board. He is currently scrapping away with Smeege on 18-lap-old medium compared to 6-lap-old softs. I think Smeege will probably start to pull away. But yeah, back at the front, Railgun 2.4 ahead of Le Mans. Anker's actually gone back to 4 ERS, then goes back down to 0. So he's playing this very tactically. And surely you would, as the championship leader. His teammate, though, taking no prisoners. I want to say on board with Hadler for the whole race at this rate. He's got that's one victim behind him. And now he sees his prey. Quite a lot of prey, actually. Let's see if he can get it.
You know, if Hadler gets on the podium, it will just be another showing of it is not over until the fat lady sings. Because if he can keep it clean, but still go quick, it won't be too hard for him, I don't believe, with all the penalties we're seeing in front, and the drivers in front that has the same amount of penalties will be trying to get in front of each other, as that will then equal them out. As Rayner gets a 3-second time penalty behind Hadler there. Hadler catching up a little to the guys in front, as Anker has gone for the move on Le Mans, coming into turn 3 with the DRS through that sweeping left hand of turn 2. It was only a matter of time before it would happen, and it has. Well, he locks up into turn 4. Could that maybe mean that Le Mans could come back into the fight? I don't think so. Le Mans only having to stay within 5 seconds of Railgun and 3 seconds of Anker, then he will win the race. This looks like he won't be catching up too much time to Anker there.
Yeah, Anker played that very smart. He obviously waited until the opportunity was right. Le Mans was still quite quick, but now Le Mans jumping back a little bit. But obviously Le Mans, he knows what's at stake. He knows that if he just keeps on the roads, he will win this Grand Prix. And he's been in this situation 2 times for this season. You know, he could have won in Canada, he could have won in France. He didn't win in neither of the 2 races for other reasons. For example, the wing damage in Canada, the contact, the lack of pace in France possibly, but he's just seemed always there. I think something has changed, because at the start of the season, yes, he was quick, but he wasn't always up there. He wasn't as consistent. It's taken something to maybe be a spark for Le Mans to just ignite a possible title challenge at this rate. You know, I can see his form lasting until the end of the season. Could be like the Zerd of season 18, when, you know, Zerd wins on. Zerd had a pretty tame start to the season, got a few podiums here and there, but didn't win until Germany, the 11th round. But then after that, he just started cruising to the championship, it seems. I'm not saying Le Mans guaranteed to win the championship or anything. I just think he's in a similar sort of situation where he wasn't as quick at the start of the season, but now he's started to pull. He started to realise what could happen now that the big guns, Napadowski and Martin G, are both out and into split 1. So the stakes are higher for the Williams, and, you know, 4 more laps to go, I should say. I don't know how I misread 36 to 34 there, but yeah, he's just keeping consistent lap times, keeping within DRS range of Anchor. He just pulls him along. And 4 laps to go as Railgun, or Rainer actually, sorry, gets another penalty. Heidler hasn't been making the gains on Kimmy's, but Kimmy's actually, the battle for fourth is still raging on. With Nixon ahead of the Toro Rosso Bucks and ahead of Kimmy's. Now if these three get in a bit of a squabble, Hadler will be there to pick up the pieces. Smeed has passed Kopi, so he'll take 2 points in his race. And possibly the fastest lap as Lamont has re-overtaken Anchor. I wonder if... Oh, that seemed quite strange on the exit of turn 4. So Lamont gets past and back up into second place. Anchor will stay behind the Williams. I don't think either of them really have the pace to catch up to Railgun, but it doesn't matter for Le Mans at the moment. But yeah, 4 laps to go, or 3 laps to go I should say, before this race comes to a close, and it's still not over for a lot of positions on track and also off track with penalties.
No, and you have to remember that if Le Mans gets this win, it could see him get that momentum going, that positive energy, and then the wins will just come if he can keep it that way, as we saw with Nabadovsky and Martin G. As long as you just, like, the second you get a win, you just get it going, as we also saw with Surd when he won his championship. It's all about getting that momentum going of one win leads to another and another.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really seen that so far this season. We had Martin G who's taken 2 wins, but I'm pretty sure no one else has taken 2 wins. Napadovsky won in Australia, THM won in Bahrain, Martin G won in China, Rick won in Azerbaijan, Martin G again won in Spain, then Isuisse won in Monaco, then Anchor won in Canada, and obviously Soren won in France. So yeah, we're bound to crown a new winner at the Railgun or Le Mans. It'd have to be Le Mans losing 3 seconds in the final 2 laps, but he's still in a battle with Anchor. In theory, but not really. The battle I'm interested in is about 4th place. Nixon defending against Bulksan. Really hard. Bulksan tries the switch back at turn 4 to no avail. He's not close enough into there. He'll try go around the outside, but again, Nixon placing his car perfectly to deny the Toro Rosso of any chance to get past the Force. I keep on saying Force India. The Racing Point. Sorry, it's been an extremely long day. Too long for my liking. I'm ready for bed as soon as this broadcast has finished at this rate. But we have 1 lap to go, and for Le Mans, well, we only have to cover 9 or 10 corners left of this circuit. I forgot the track distance at the moment, but yeah, Le Mans 2nd place at the moment. Will turn to 1st. Igniton still battling away with Bulksan. Can Bulksan try a move? I mean, it looks unlikely, but considering Igniton just is defending so superbly, but he's got 1 last chance as Bulksan to go round the outside. But the Racing Point is defending magnificently, but can he go around the outside or turn to the inside if he can just hang on in there? Kimmy's waiting in the wings. He goes down the inside. Finally, Bulksan has got past his man. And that was a super move to bring to an end their final lap. But we go to the front, where Railgun has had a superb race, but due to that 5-second penalty, will not take the win. It's 3 times the charm for Le Mans, though. He finally wins in AOR F2. He finally wins, and it's the Austrian Grand Prix he takes, with Railgun home in 2nd, and Bulksan, with that last lap overtake, steals a podium from Igniton.
It was FK Gaming's round. Spun through the last corner there. You'll come across the line in 11th. Crysis, oh, getting a bit out there with this rear end. Coming through the last corner, across the line. Now let's see if my game wants to stop lagging. We will be able to see what the final standings will be.
And hats off to Buxan, that was a daring overtake. And he made it work, and well, there you go, he's got a podium for it. And that is his reward. Railgun's going to be kicking himself though. He can't be happy with a second place, not a chance. He didn't pick up any 3-second time penalties, I do believe.
No, he only got his
Just
speed
that.
in the pit lane.
Yeah, and that could have easily been avoided, more so than the corner cutting really. I know, well, the win in Season 17, Smeege can maybe consolidate Railgun, because he also lost a win because of the 5-second speeding pit lane penalty. So Railgun's first win will have to wait another day or another week as we head to Silverstone next time out. But Le Mans has finally won the monkey off his back. He wins here in the Syrian Mountains from Railgun, from Buxan, from Kimmy's 3 poles in the top 4. So hats off to the poles. They did very well. Hadler in 5th ahead of his teammate, Mr. Anker. Egnicton in 7th. Smeege in 8th. Kopi 9th. Rayner gets the final point in 10th. And we lost in this race. I Swiss after the contact with Crysis, after Crysis was yet to pit, and I Swiss got caught up in an incident with the Sauber, and Boomsonk we lost very early on, it seems, as he had a disastrous opening lap where he was lapped by lap 7. So a day in the office to forget for him, but a day in the office to remember for Le Mans, who, as I said, he's just got that first win, and as you said, Jens, could possibly build up that momentum to keep a streak going. We'll have to wait and find out as we head to Silverstone this time next week, and Le Mans could be strong round there. We never know.
No, but we will of course find out next week, where we will hopefully be back if if my computer and power and my internet wants to work with me, and hopefully we will be able to go through with a full race and qualifying without any disruptions. But we will of course see you next week out in Silverstone. Until then, have a good night.